Welcome back to the Hannahcast YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be giving you my BAFTA winners predictions. There's a lot of categories, and the BAFTAs are coming this Sunday, I believe, so I want to make sure that I get these out. Hi, hello, I'm just interjecting to tell you guys about this cool little deal on channel memberships. Yeah, apparently your first month is free and covered by YouTube. So that means you get a free month of channel memberships and I still get money, so it's good for both of us. And with your channel memberships, you get loyalty badges next to your name in the comments and live chat, custom emojis that you can use in comments and the live chat. You get member-requested reviews, member shoutouts, members-only live chats, and members-only polls that you can use to tell me what to review, whether it be like old movies and stuff. And you also get to choose what Oscar retrospectives I do, what years you want me to do. So yeah, consider becoming a member. All right, bye. And so yeah, let's just start with best film. Now this is interesting because BAFTA is like these days is very rarely aligned with the Oscars in best picture. Like in the past decade, they've only aligned with the Oscars 2 times. 12 Years a Slave and Nomadland. Nothing else. So I don't really know what to do here, because right now Oppenheimer is the Oscar frontrunner, but BAFTA is really, really, really bad at predicting Best Picture these days. That's kind of one of the reasons why I'm wondering if the holdovers can actually sneak in through, the screenplay category and PGA. Because if it manages to get original screenplay here, and it manages to get PGA, well then it's so winning Best Picture. Although, regardless, right now I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna say Oppenheimer. I'm not gonna say Killers of the Flower Moon's gonna get it, because man, I'm kind of looking back on the nominations, I'm kind of shocked that Killers of the Flower Moon actually won. No, not won, but got nominated here for best film, because they didn't even nominate it for director, lead actor, lead actress for Lily Gladstone, or even supporting, or even adapted screenplay. But that's weird. But we'll get to lead actress when we get to that. But right now, I just have to assume Oppenheimer is just gonna win BAFTA here. So yeah. Even some of the other contenders, like Anatomy of a Fall, a lot of people are saying that could win BAFTA, but again, that would show a very odd showing of strength. And even for Poor Things, it'd be like, really? Poor Things? I don't know. I think Oppenheimer, I think, is probably just going to take the BAFTA here. But again, it is tough, because BAFTA and the Oscars have not aligned in Best Picture they've only aligned 2 times in the past decade, so this feels too safe. But I'm just going to have to assume it's Oppenheimer right now. Lead actress is very interesting, because Lily Gladstone is not here. That is very shocking to me, considering, isn't that what the jury was made for? To add diversity to the nominees? So, it's tough. Now, granted, this still could probably tell us if Lily Gladstone is either winning the Oscar or really winning the Oscar. Because I still say it's not over until SAG. It's not over until SAG. Because I still think Lily Gladstone may still win there. But here is going to be interesting. Because right now I'm going to predict Emma Stone for Poor Things. But let's say Sandra Hüller wins at BAFTA. If Sandra Hüller wins at BAFTA, that might show some weakness for Emma Stone, which would honestly just make Lily Gladstone's potential Oscar win even easier, especially if Emma Stone loses, definitely if Emma Stone loses SAG to Lily Gladstone. Because, granted, if Emma Stone still won SAG, alright, she's winning the Oscar. But I don't know if SAG is going to go for Emma Stone. They might. It's possible. But man, it just really depends. Cause I just do think Lily Gladstone's taking SAG, but if Emma Stone again, if Emma Stone wins here, then all right, there's still a good chance that Lily Gladstone can take SAG and then the Oscar. But if Sandra Hüller wins, well then I think that just shows they don't really care about Poor Things that much. So this is interesting. This is going to be very interesting. So we're going to have to see. But yeah, I do right now. I will say Emma Stone wins. But again, Sandra Hüller could take it, and that could just make Lily Gladstone's path even easier. So yeah, lead actor, very interesting because right now a lot of people are saying Paul Giamatti is the front runner to win the Oscar. I don't know if that's going to be the case. Because Cillian Murphy could still very well just take, the BAFTA and even SAG if they really wanted to. So there is that. But will Paul Giamatti take the BAFTA? I don't know. If he does take the BAFTA, oh my God, he's so winning SAG and he's so winning the Oscar. That would be pretty nuts. Again, I just don't think that's going to happen, though. I think Oppenheimer's just going to perform very, very well here. So, I'm just going to assume that Cillian Murphy is just winning the BAFTA. Because, again, I don't if Paul Giamatti won, insane showing of strength. Oh my God, what is with the camera? Alright, hopefully it's fixed. Now we get to supporting actor. And I think it's just going to be Robert Downey Jr. Once again, I think he's just sweeping this season. I think he's just going to take it everywhere he possibly can. Again, even if Oppenheimer doesn't win Best Picture, he's still probably going to win this. So, yeah, again, even here, I don't even think Ryan Gosling would pose much of a threat. Because considering Barbie didn't perform super well here. But, yeah. And then we get to supporting actress, and I'm pretty sure some people are going to be saying, oh, Emily Blunt's is going to randomly take it, like how Dev Patel took supporting actor instead of Mahershala Ali, or, how even Ke Huy Quan lost to Barry Keoghan for The Banshees of Inisherin. I don't think that's going to happen every year, folks. Calm down. I think it's still going to be Divine Joy Randolph that wins. She's winning the BAFTA. I don't see Emily Blunt winning. Oh, if she did win, I'd be like, what the? Because I'm already predicting Oppenheimer to win 9 BAFTAs, which would probably tie it for the most wins ever at BAFTA. But at the same time, that's also the amount of Oscar wins I'm expecting it to get. So I don't know, how reliable this would be. But regardless, I think it's just going to be Divine Joy Randolph. Let's call him our tits here, people. Director, probably the easiest award, Christopher Nolan. Again, it's his year. He just won DGA, and I can't imagine even Jonathan Glazer posing a threat to Christopher Nolan here. Everyone loves Christopher Nolan. Everyone loves Oppenheimer. It's not gonna, no, Jonathan Glazer not beating him here. Then original screenplay. This is fascinating because this will determine, I feel, who wins this will partly determine who wins Best Picture at the Oscars. Because, again, there's still PGA. But this is a race between Anatomy of a Fall and The Holdovers. And the reason why I say that is because we do not have the Writers Guild of America awards. We do not have Writers Guild this year. The nominees for the Writers Guild Awards, I don't even think have been announced. So, you take that, and you realize BAFTA is the last major precursor for screenplay that we got. It's the last one, pretty much. And so, what this means is I feel like BAFTA will determine who wins original screenplay and adapted screenplay at the Oscars. Because, Golden Globes and Critics' Choice, they're very spotty. They are very, very spotty. Yeah, sure. Critics' Choice got it right both ways last year with Everything Everywhere winning original, and then Promising Young Woman winning adapted. No, not Promising Young Woman. Women Talking won adapted. But the year before that, sure, Belfast won original, but The Power of the Dog won adapted. Year before that, A Promising Young Woman, it won original, but Nomadland won adapted. The previous year before that, it was none of them aligned. Because Once Upon a Time in Hollywood won original, and Little Women won adapted. Then the year before that, not eighth grade. What was it? Oh yeah, First Reformed won original, and If Beale Street Could Talk won adapted. They're very, very hit or even Critics' Choice is very hit or miss. So I'm not going to be going to them when predicting the screenplay categories. And so, again, BAFTA is the last major precursor we have, and I feel like the Oscars are going to reflect whatever BAFTA does. And with that being said, do we really think the BAFTAs are going to give Barbie original screenplay? Because yeah, it's adapted at the Oscars, which is already an uphill battle in and of itself. But do we really think Barbie's going to win here? Despite the fact that it didn't even get Best Film? I think this is going to be between Anatomy of a Fall and The Holdovers. I think that's just how it's going to be. Past Lives is a very maybe, but I don't know. I think these two are just stronger contenders overall. Because Anatomy of a Fall has the Golden Globe. It has that going for it. But at the same time, The Holdovers is just like Oppenheimer, very universal. Everyone who has seen The Holdovers loves it. They it's impossible not to at least like the movie. Like, everyone just flat out loves The Holdovers. And that's why I've always been saying The Holdovers could be a threat to Best Picture. And it always has been. Or at least, ever since I saw that trailer, I was like, I think maybe The Holdovers could maybe be a threat. And if it wants to be a threat, I feel like it needs to win screenplay here. Because it could win PGA, and it might win PGA. But if it can't even win original screenplay here, I don't know. Because then at that point, because it needs screenplay to win Best Picture. It needs it. Now, would I still predict, The Holdovers to win original screenplay at the Oscars if it loses to Anatomy of a Fall, or just loses in general at the BAFTAs? I don't know if I could do that. But let's say Paul Giamatti turns out to be just as strong as ever. Obviously, Divine Joy Randolph is sweeping supporting actress, and this takes PGA. Would I still predict that The Holdovers would win original screenplay at the Oscars? Again, I don't know. I can't think of a single film that didn't win any screenplay precursors and then won screenplay and then won Best Picture. That would be very strange. So, yeah. This is very odd. This is a pretty odd spot we're in. But right now, if I'm assuming The Holdovers is getting ready to sneak into winning Best Picture at the Oscars, I'm going to say The Holdovers is winning original screenplay. Now, if Anatomy of a Fall beats it, then I think it might be done. It might be done to win Best Picture, and then Oppenheimer is just going to win. And then we have adapted screenplay, where we have a similar situation. Because again, American Fiction did win adapted screenplay at the Critics' Choice, and it probably would win adapted screenplay at the Writers' Guild. But again, knowing that BAFTA is our last screenplay precursor leading up to the Oscars, do we really think American Fiction is winning here? It didn't even get longlisted in Best Film. So I really, really doubt it's winning here. I think it's going to come down to Oppenheimer and Poor Things. And it's interesting because neither Oppenheimer nor Poor Things have won anything so far, at least in the major precursors. Because again, Anatomy of a Fall took the Golden Globe, and at the Critics' Choice Awards, technically 2 adapted screenplays won, because Barbie won original, and then American Fiction won adapted. But as we know in the Oscars, Barbie is adapted. So I've already explained why Barbie's not winning at BAFTA. Again, do we really think American Fiction is winning at BAFTA, the last precursor? I don't think so. If it does, well then yeah, it's absolutely winning the Oscar at that point. But I can't imagine the BAFTAs ever going for something like that. It's going to be between Oppenheimer and Poor Things, and I just, I don't know. I feel, again, Oppenheimer, like, people are really doubting Oppenheimer's chances at an adapted screenplay win, because it could absolutely win it. Like, the movie is still it's still a very smart screenplay. And again, there is that really nice fact that it is written in first person, at least when it comes to the colored scenes. And it does make it stand out from your usual screenplay. It's very unconventional in that sense. Whereas Poor Things, I don't know. And plus, even then, Poor Things has just not been winning a whole lot. You know, it didn't do it won Best Picture, musical or comedy at the Golden Globes, which I feel like does give it an edge over Barbie. But I just don't know. This is just a very wild race. I'm going to, and there is also the zone of interest, but like, that would be a very, like, out of nowhere screenplay win. Cause like, and one of the things I must preface when it comes to the whole why I feel like Writers Guild not being here matters, it's because Writers Guild has that last push. It gives that last push to the screenplay category. You know, because look at last year. All Quiet on the Western Front won the BAFTA for adapted screenplay. And Women Talking, you know, let's face it, was had a really weak showing at the Oscars, getting nominated for only Best Picture and adapted screenplay. And so we have BAFTA giving adapted screenplay to All Quiet on the Western Front, so it's like, all right, well, I guess All Quiet's winning. But then at the Writers Guild, despite being nominated alongside Top Gun Maverick, which also got the Oscar nomination, they did, in fact, give it to Women Talking at the Writers Guild. And I feel like that Writers Guild boost, since it was the last one, made people go, oh, wait, maybe we can give adapted screenplay to Women Talking. Because it gives that boost. And I don't think Women Talking would have won the Oscar for adapted screenplay if that Writers Guild boost didn't push it at the last second. And so that's why I feel like Writers Guild not being here hurts movies like Barbie and American Fiction, because I just don't think the BAFTAs would go for those. So it is between Oppenheimer and Poor Things, and I do think Oppenheimer might take it. Because I feel like it is a very unique screenplay. Again, Oppenheimer just seems to be sweeping. It seems to be winning a lot of awards. And it is interesting because Oppenheimer and Poor Things have just not really won not really won any major precursors for screenplay. So this is just kind of like out in the open as to what could happen. Now, I am looking at Awards Watch, and apparently, like, Oppenheimer, weirdly enough, has been taking a lot of critics groups for adapted screenplay over Poor Things. Like, Oppenheimer has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, if I'm not mistaken, 11 critics groups, and Poor Things only has 4. So maybe that's a sign. Maybe that is a sign that people really do love the screenplay for Oppenheimer. That, yeah, it is a very innovative screenplay. It is very unique. It stands out amongst all the other contenders. So you know what? Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable in saying it's going to be Oppenheimer, because, again, it's just like these two haven't really clashed with each other that much in the precursors, or okay, technically they have, but they've both lost to other movies. So I just kind of have to I'm just turning to the critic circles, and I'm just assuming that they're just going to go with Oppenheimer here. Casting is very, very interesting, because, like, this is kind of one of the harder categories to figure out, because if I'm not mistaken, Joker won in 2019, Rocks won in 2020, 2021 they gave it to West Side Story, and 2022 they gave it to Elvis. So they like it when you cast, like, people as, like, either famous figures or famous characters, or in the case of Rocks, a bunch of kids. We don't quite have that here. We don't quite have that. I mean, technically, yeah, we do have Killers of the Flower Moon, which tackles, a real world issue that happened, and Anatomy of a Fall has one kid in it. I don't know. Maybe this could also show holdovers might be a little bit strong, because, I mean, if we're talking about casting decisions, I mean, my God, they really, really nailed the casting and the holdovers. And who knows? Maybe it could win casting at the Oscars if it were nominated. Huh. But again, like, we've seen in the previous, years, like, the best casting award doesn't really do anything for your Oscar chances, because again, look at Elvis. Elvis won 0 Oscars and it won best casting at the BAFTAs. And West Side Story only won 1 Oscar despite winning casting at BAFTA. I mean, think about actually think about that. West Side Story won more BAFTAs than Oscars. That's nuts. So this is tough, because I do, like, God, this is tough. And plus the BAFTAs just didn't really like Killers of the Flower Moon all that much. But did they, like, they didn't really, like, hell, they didn't even nominate West Side Story for best film. So this is tough, and I practically know nothing about How to Have Sex, so this doesn't really help me. I'm assuming it's going to go between Anatomy of a Fall and The Holdovers. It's going to be between one of those two, and I don't know, maybe they, you know what? I might go for Anatomy of a Fall here, because, it's not a big cast, but it's a very specific cast, and the BAFTA seem to really like Anatomy of a Fall. So, I don't know. I might not get this right. I mean, who knows? What if Killers of the Flower Moon wins? But right now, I'm thinking it's Anatomy of a Fall, especially with the kid. So, yeah. Cinematography. This is going to be very interesting. This is going to be very telling as to who could win the cinematography Oscar. Because the British Society of Cinematographers gave it to Poor Things. Of all, like, Poor Things. Really? They didn't give it to Oppenheimer. Will that repeat at the Oscars? I don't know. Actually, let me check. Alright, well, that's not really helpful. Apparently, they've disagreed with the BAFTAs like 6 times out of the past 10 years. So, okay, so I guess the British Society of Cinematographers, they're just very hit or miss with the BAFTAs. Again, they will sometimes, like, they have, agreed in some cases, like with All Quiet on the Western Front. But, you look at the year before that, The Power of the Dog won British Society of Cinematographers, and Mank, the previous year, won British Society of Cinematographers, and yet at the BAFTAs, they gave those to Dune and Nomadland in those respective years. So they're very, very hit or miss. I'm just going to go with the assumption they're giving it to Oppenheimer. I just have to assume that. Again, Poor Things won British Society of Cinematographers, but it's just, they're so hit or miss. So I don't know if I want to put too much stock in Poor Things winning there. It just seems like Oppenheimer is just too much of a giant contender to lose. So I'm just going to go with that. Film editing. Oppenheimer. I think it's just going to win. Again, just another award to add to the pile of Oppenheimer awards that it's getting. So, yeah, I don't even know what else would win. Maybe Anatomy of a Fall. Production design. Poor Things just won the Art Directors Guild for fantasy production design. And even if Barbie won, I'd still predict that Poor Things was winning here, but we got a race. And that would technically mean that Poor Things has more precursor wins in terms of the major ones than Barbie. But again, Critics' Choice does disagree with the Oscars less than the BAFTAs in production design. So I don't know. But regardless, I think Poor Things is just winning here. Although, just imagine if Oppenheimer won here. That would be absolutely nuts. And again, that would show a lot of strength for Oppenheimer as a contender. So yeah. Costume design. I think it's going to go to Poor Things. I think it's pretty easy to assume. Again, even if Barbie were to take costume design at the Oscars, I think it's just going to go to Poor Things at BAFTA. So, yeah. Makeup and hair is... We need clarity. We need clarity on this. Nothing is helping us so far because the Critics' Choice Awards gave makeup and hairstyling to Barbie and it's not even nominated. Like, like, give us some, like, really? So we kind of have to go off of this. Now, this is interesting because Maestro, like, I assumed Maestro would take Critics' Choice, but it's just like, because it is the biggest, most transformative performance, but it didn't even win there. And it's interesting because Poor Things has a Best Film nomination at BAFTA, but Maestro doesn't. Does that matter, though? I don't know, because if I'm not mistaken, I think Bombshell won here. So, I don't know. But also, Vice didn't win here, and they gave it to The Favorite. So it's really tough. Do I predict Poor Things, or do I predict Maestro? I'm going to assume Maestro is winning. Because it most assuredly has to win the Makeup and Hairstylist Guild Awards, right? If Poor Things won here and Maestro won big at the Makeup and Hairstylist Guild, would I still predict Maestro? Maybe? I don't know. But regardless, I'm going to play it safe and say Maestro is just winning Makeup and Hair at BAFTA. But, oh god, if they give it to Poor Things. Or good god, if they give it to Oppenheimer. Oh my god, that would just straight up just be ballot checking, like boink, 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 boink. So yeah. Visual effects. Alright, this is probably the most chaotic category here. My god. Now, this is interesting because a lot of people are saying Godzilla Minus One is winning the Oscar, but I would not be so sure about that. Because the last time a film won Best Visual Effects at the Oscars without getting nominated at BAFTA was What Dreams May Come in 1998. Did not get the BAFTA nomination, but it won the Oscar for visual effects. But 1998, that's like, no. Like I don't think Godzilla Minus One's winning the Oscar. So what is winning? Well, okay, going into the nomination predictions, I thought Oppenheimer would just win here because, they'd probably just be lazy like that, but they didn't even nominate it. So it's like, okay, would they go for Poor Things? I don't know. Because the thing is, I'm thinking Napoleon wins the Oscar because it is just the most prestigious film in the category. Like, it is the most likely film in that category to be nominated in Best Picture. But here at the BAFTAs, they have a Best Picture nominee in Poor Things. So would they just give it to Poor Things, or would they give it to Napoleon? The creator should win. It deserves to win. But the problem is, I don't trust the Oscars to actually give the creator an award, like a visual effects Oscar, based on what is really just merit alone. Because, like, every time the Oscars give a movie Best Visual Effects, it's either, even if it's deserved to win, it's usually either a Best Picture nominee, like Avatar: The Way of Water or Dune, or they just give it to what is most likely going to be nominated for Best Picture. First Man, or Blade Runner 2049, or Interstellar, which, though, I'm not saying I thought those were particularly deserved, because I think, if I were voting, I would have given those awards to Avengers: Infinity War, War for the Planet of the Apes, and maybe Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, although granted Interstellar versus Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is a pretty big decision for me, so I don't know. So what are they going to do here? Are they just going to go for the Best Picture nominee? Well, they technically didn't nominate Avatar: The Way of Water, and it still won, but at the same time, Avatar was sweeping. Nothing is sweeping here. So I don't know. This is really, really tough. It's really tough. I'm going to say Napoleon wins. I think it's just, I'm thinking Napoleon wins the Oscar. So I think it would probably win at BAFTA. Again, it shouldn't win. I don't want it to win visual effects. It should be the creator. But, like, the Oscars just didn't do it. Like, the Oscars are just not going to do it. Hell, the creator wasn't even eligible for Best Picture. Like, that's how badly it's showing. So, yeah, I'm just going to assume it's Napoleon winning here. Sound. This is, again, easy. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, no. I was thinking about editing. Because, like, wait, no. They give it to car movies. They give it to racing movies. But no, there's no racing. Because Ferrari's not nominated for editing at the Oscars. No, at BAFTA. Well, I mean, not at the Oscars either, but still. You know what I mean. But no, I think it's just going to go to Oppenheimer. I don't, because, again, Ferrari, like, that would maybe have a chance in just regular film editing, but not here. I think it's just going to go to Oppenheimer. And original score, I'm just going to say it's once again going to be Oppenheimer. Again, that's 9 awards I'm thinking Oppenheimer wins, which would already tie it for the most BAFTA wins, along with Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Which makes me wonder if they would still, that's kind of what makes me wonder if they are just going to go with Poor Things in cinematography. Because, I don't know. But still, I'm just going to go with the assumption that it's winning cinematography. And Oppenheimer winning score as well. Then we get to animated film. This is interesting. Because already, it's not a clear path for Spider-Verse. Because, sure, Spider-Verse won Critics' Choice, but The Boy and the Heron won the Golden Globe, which is interesting because the Golden Globes have never given a 2D animated movie best animated feature ever. So what do I think the BAFTAs are going to do? Well, I don't know. I think The Boy and the Heron just might play well overseas more than Spider-Verse. I guess technically I did predict that, Boy and the Heron would win the Oscar in my last Oscar predictions video, but again, it's by a hair, and I don't know. It's tough. Because right now, I don't know. Because Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is probably going to win PGA. But in the Annies, I don't know. They could give it to Spider-Verse, or they could give it to The Boy and the Heron, or they could give it to Nimona, which has the most nominations over at the Annies. So that's tough. I'm going to assume at BAFTA, though, they're going to give it to The Boy and the Heron. I don't know, something tells me they're just going to really like The Boy and the Heron over there. Now, granted, the BAFTAs did nominate Spider-Verse in score, so I don't know, but I just want to play it. I don't know, I just feel like it's just going to be The Boy and the Heron at the BAFTAs. Although if Spider-Verse does win here, okay, well then, yeah, it's absolutely winning the Oscar, but right now, I'll probably say Boy and the Heron's winning. Film not in the English language. This is interesting because I thought The Zone of Interest was going to get into Best Film, and it didn't. Because this is the United Kingdom's chance to win Best International Film at the Oscars. This is their chance. And also, I just realized they did have Past Lives. So this is interesting. Although I'm going to go with Anatomy of a Fall, because even though The Zone of Interest has more nominations overall, Anatomy of a Fall is nominated for Best Film. So if it didn't win, I'd be a little bit surprised. But then again, for all we know, maybe the BAFTAs want to just really push the idea of the zone. Granted, the Zone of Interest is already going to win international feature because France didn't even submit Anatomy of a Fall, and the Zone of Interest is in Best Picture, so it's like they're not going to give the award for Best International Feature to a movie that's not the one that's in Best Picture. But regardless, I think they're probably going to give film not in the English language to Anatomy of a Fall. Because again, it's in Best Film. Zone of Interest isn't. Next category. Documentary. The only one nominated for the Oscar is 20 Days in Mariupol. And 20 Days in Mariupol did just win the DGA award, the Directors Guild Award, for documentary directing. So maybe it's just going to be 20 Days in Mariupol. I mean, I would have to assume so, because again, that's the only one that's nominated for the Oscar in this category. They didn't even nominate Beyond Utopia, which is shocking. So yeah. Outstanding British Film is interesting, because again, it's a race between Poor Things and The Zone of Interest. Although I'm going to have to assume it's going to be Poor Things, because that's in Best Film and not The Zone of Interest. That's the thing, I'm just really shocked over The Zone of Interest. How did The Zone of Interest not get Best Film at BAFTA? It got nominated for every award it was shortlisted for except Best Film. That's just wild to me. So, yeah. But Poor Things, I think, is just winning here because, again, it's in Best Film. It would be very strange if The Zone of Interest is absolutely won over Poor Things. Although maybe that would show that The Zone of Interest, or maybe just show that Poor Things is just not as strong as we thought it was. Because it currently is Oppenheimer's biggest hurdle in terms of screenplay. Adapted screenplay, I should say. Because if Oppenheimer can still beat Poor Things, then, again, it just shows a lot of weakness for Poor Things. British short film. This is tough. I don't exactly know what's happening. So, yeah, let me check something real quick. Oh my god. Gold Derby doesn't even have the short films? Oh god, I'm gonna have to, freeball this. Alright. Yellow, because, I think it was shortlisted at the Oscars. I don't know. I don't know what's happening here. So, yeah, I'm just gonna go yellow on a whim. British short animation. Alright, are any of these nominated for the Oscar? Nope. Nope, not that. So, yeah, this is tough. I'm going to assume Crab Day. Maybe. I don't know. God, I can't. I was just gonna, just steal the, the Gold Derby predictions. I don't know. Outstanding debut by a writer, director, or producer. This is interesting. Okay, so it's probably going to be either Bobby Wine, the People's President, or How to Have Sex. How to Have Sex did get a few nominations, so maybe I'm just going to go with How to Have Sex. I don't know. I might go for that one. Let's see what happens. And the EE Rising Star Award, as much as I would love to say it's, Ayo Edebiri, I don't think that's going to happen, because she's not British. Although there is that joke that she's Irish, but that's not going to be a real thing. I think it's just going to be Jacob Elordi. I think they're just going to give it to Jacob Elordi because he's the most prominent figure here. I don't know who else would win, but again, I'm not good at this. Who knows? And yeah, guys, those are my BAFTA winner predictions. Thank you guys so much for watching. Now stay tuned because I am going to be watching the BAFTAs. I'm going to be reacting to the BAFTAs. And so, yeah, now I want to pass the question off to you. Who do you think is winning at the BAFTAs? And consider hitting that subscribe button because if you don't, Queen Elizabeth is going to rise from the grave.